Broadcasting live, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar, my cigar.
Good morning, all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. I'm your host, Honest Abe DeBabna. This is KMA Talk Radio, episode number 411, and I'm here with my trusty co-hosts, the Italian scallion himself, Paul DeGracco, and my man from South Paul from South Philly, a.k.a. the GOAT, Alex.
Good morning.
Tavella with the leisure look this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, rocking my Smoke Inn Socialite robe this morning. Shout out to all the socialites. These robes will be available soon.
Yes, I was very. We put an Easter egg in the credits. If anybody didn't watch the credits of The Great Smoke, I urge you to go back and watch them. There's a couple Easter eggs in those credits. The socialite robe was one of them, and there's an end scene and a tribute. So definitely worth viewing the credits if you didn't get a chance to view the credits. Other than that, it was a very exciting weekend last weekend and a very interesting week this week, I guess.
What a crazy week for you guys. I mean, I had fun stuffing my face with food during the Great Smoke.
Speaking of the watch party you hosted with Evan Darnell, I might as well get this out of the way.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Evan came by yesterday, dropped off this bag. I'm pretty sure there's nothing Louis Vuitton in here, but
I would assume.
Open this side first. So he dropped something off.
What the heck?
I don't know. He didn't tell me to refrigerate it, so it's definitely not food. But I have to open this side first.
Okay.
It's quite the wrapping job.
Yeah, definitely not done.
He should have gotten his wife's help.
Without a doubt. This is how I wrap shit.
Exactly.
So he's kept it for you to open on the air?
That's what he said. Which, I'm a little worried because with Evan Darnell, you never know.
You never know.
Oh, okay. So let's see. There's a letter here. Abe, at my core, I treat my friends. They are like family. And after listening to you speak of our friend Sal, it is apparent you do the same. We are so fortunate to have come together with great people, enjoy each other's company over a nice cigar, speak openly, eat delicious food, and have supportive families who make it all possible. You've created a new way for us to come together, so enjoy these fortunate things in our life. Sal would have been proud of you this weekend, as we all are. Please take this picture and put it somewhere close to you, as I am sure he always is. Well, I never got to meet Sal, and he spelled meat, M-E-A-T.
Of course you did.
I feel like I have because he lives on through you. Proud to call you a friend, Evan Darnell.
Come on, Abe. The suspense is killing us. Wow. Well done, Evan.
This is, I don't know if it's hand painted. This doesn't look like it's a, this is hand painted by somebody. This isn't an effect or a digital thing.
We have Abe in a moment right now.
Yeah,
Abe is in a moment a little bit. We got to take this in.
I've never seen this before.
No, that's excellent and
that's really cool.
Yeah, this is definitely going up right next to Harry. I got Harry on the wall over here, and this is going to go right up next to him. I have a picture of me and Sal I keep on my desk here. For those of you who didn't catch it or not in the socialite group, February was the 10-year anniversary of Sal's death, and Sal was literally my first mentor in this industry, and more than that, it was family. He was a good friend. But this was Sal and I at our 10th anniversary party when we gave away that Harley. Yeah, Sal was great. Okay, should have maybe waited a little bit.
Now that we're all emotional.
To open that. I got to go set this down.
Well, so Evan really knew how to get to Abe there, I guess.
He did. Well done, Evan. And I mean that's a really nice gesture. It is. That was awesome.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Here, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
I didn't want to.
We got an eye wipe.
Oh, we got it. This is like Oprah. This is perfect.
There was dust in my eyes, dude.
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel, Abe.
Look, in moments like this weekend especially, I really miss Sal the most because to understand some of the things that we've done, whether it be the first Great Smoke, our poker tournament, giving away a car, giving away a Harley, or even this last digital TGS, my dad's proud of me, my wife's proud of me, but they really don't understand the scope of it of the industry. They're not in it sometimes, and they don't fully relate. Like my dad has no clue sometimes. He just sees a lot of people. This is great. My son did a great thing, and Sal was always that guy that really was proud of me, and actually I was able to share the depth of some of the things we've done over the years. So yeah, in times like this, I kind of miss him the most. But this and every Thanksgiving, because he stole all the cranberry sauce every Thanksgiving.
He loved your wife's cranberry sauce, right?
He loved my wife's cranberry sauce. In fact, when he was in hospice, we made him a whole Thanksgiving dinner and bought him a whole thing of cranberry sauce. So yeah. All right. Thank you, Evan Darnell. It was a wonderful, touching gift. I appreciate it.
Well, the funny thing is, I haven't seen him comment yet, so I wonder if he's not listening.
I know his son's got a baseball game this morning, so I don't know if he's around, but I'm pretty sure he'll watch it later. Stay strong. But
Stay strong, Big Ed.
Well, I mean, I don't want to skip over TGS, but man, what a weekend that was. I mean, the 1,000. Look, and just so you know, and anybody didn't see it or hear it, obviously there was a lot of controversy after TGS with people who didn't make out on their limited editions. Staff here at Smoke Inn got a lot of nasty phone calls and nasty emails. But I spent all day Monday morning. You can ask Alex, because Alex was just ready to ban everybody.
Alex I had the perfect plan. I mean, there's no one who objected to my plan. Unfortunately, it didn't.
Alex wanted to go to their accounts and Smoke Inn, and next time they logged in, it would just say like, your money's no good here. Shop somewhere else. he was pissed. But literally, I spent the whole day Monday calling everybody, like every single person who left an email, like every single one, and not one person was bad about it. They and most of them were like, look, we were caught up in the moment. I was upset. I'm sorry, and everybody was really nice about it. That's what I was telling Alex. I said, look, people get mad in the moment, and then they say stuff, and then 20 minutes later, they cool down. In fact, one guy put it in the comment section of his TGS order. So he's ordering some other product, and he made a comment and said some nasty stuff. And I think he was the guy who called me not so honest, Abe. And so I called him, and I said, hello, yeah, this is not so honest, Abe. And, he's like, man, look, if I had sent an email, I would have sent an apology email like 10 minutes later, but it was in the comments in the, order. I didn't know how to take it back. So the spirit of it worked through. Everybody got over it. And overall, I think it was a phenomenal event. I got a lot of beautiful messages from people all over the country and our peers, and kudos to everybody on the smoking team who really I pushed. I mean, a lot of times I could push myself to the limits, and I'm all right with that. But I think almost everybody involved kind of got pushed to their limits last week, and I think it showed. So very proud of that moment. How did it look like to you, Paul? Because I haven't really watched it yet.
Right, me neither.
Yeah, I've looked at little snippets. We've been busy this week. Obviously, we'll be busy all of next week trying to get all these orders out. The guys are blasting through it. We've made 2 shifts, so they're working day and night. And but I have a plan like Sunday maybe just to chill back, grab a cigar, sit on the lanai, and just kind of just chill and watch it for the first time.
So I didn't watch the full, like I watched it at the Red Meat Lovers Club event. I listened to some of it. Listen, as soon as it started, I was like, oh my God, he's Jimmy Fallon. That son of a bitch did it. So yeah, it looked super professional. It was awesome.
Let me clarify. Your standards and expectations are always absurd. So for you to say
yeah,
because
I agree.
Paul believes right now like our audio is poor quality. Like, no, we gotta do something. Like his standards of everything wants to be like primetime network television production.
And there were little things during the show that I was texting Alex about. And I was like, ooh, raise their volume, lower their volume, raise their volume.
Volume's a little low. Hey,
I honestly wasn't sure where he was, but I was like,
camera 3 to scroll over.
Yeah.
Okay.
But overall, it was amazing. Let me tell you my highlights for it. Carlito, of course, was a huge highlight for me. I mean, I got to meet him virtually through the show a couple of times now, and his interview was just very genuine and very heartfelt and emotional, and it was awesome. And Saka was another standout. Speaking of stay strong and all this stuff that's going on right now, but Saka was like shot out of a cannon. He was really well spoken. He seemed optimistic and positive, which, you know, if you ask Abe, that's
for a change.
Yeah, exactly. Which if you ask Abe is unlike him normally. So yeah, listen, I was blown away by it. I'll tell you actually, when you introduced Petra coming on with Alan, I was like, really? And not that I don't think that Petra is really great, because obviously I've seen her perform a million times now at the house and other places. I was like, all right, let's see where this is going. Dude, that was awesome. It was so cool to see her up there with Alan and like really like rocking out and jamming. The comedians were great. The last guy especially I thought was super funny. And he's a Long Island guy, so you know you gotta like that. Props to that. But yeah, it was listen, it was an awesome experience. You know, I got to experience it a little bit differently than anybody else really on the staff, because I kind of had the leisurely job of kind of waiting till I went online and smoking sin compromisos all day at Smoke Inn Boynton. So it was fun, and stuffing my face with, as Evan says, copious amounts of beef. But yeah, I was really impressed. And for me to say that, you know, that's a big deal.
I got to give big kudos to Alan Goldfarb, because, you know, I think he saw my daughter playing Bohemian Rhapsody on the piano one night, and I posted on Facebook, and then he sent me him playing guitar. He's brought his guitar to our store a couple times and jammed a few times. So he sent me a video of him playing too, and I just texted him back, you and Petra should do a gig. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, you want to do it for the Great Smoke? And literally, like, he drove, I think it's about a 40-minute drive the week before once or twice, and then 2 or 3 times the 2 weeks before, then 2 or 3 times the week of the Great Smoke. And that's all they did. They worked on it, and they'd never played together. And unfortunately, I was busy working because I really wanted to be there when they were practicing, but they kept sending me videos. So when I saw the videos of them playing, that moved me a lot. So I knew it was going to be a good experience for everybody. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't recognize my daughter.
True story.
No, man, it's a true story. It's a true story. I'm talking with Michael Herklotz at the table, and you know, the point by the time they came on, it was a good maybe a couple hours into the event. There was only 40 people in the room. It wasn't like there was jam-packed room. It was a very limited audience. So after a couple hours, you've seen every face. You kind of know everybody who's been in the audience. And as I'm talking to Herklotz, I see in the corner of my eye this young lady walk across, stand in the corner, talking to people, and I'm saying to myself, who's letting random people into this room? Because this
what
girl,
the hell is she doing in here?
Yeah, this girl wasn't here the last 2 hours because I didn't know what she was wearing. And then, of course, the makeup artist did her thing for 45 minutes on her. So I didn't know who it was. And then when I saw her walking to the stage, I was like, oh, my God. Yeah, I got to go out and buy a few more shotguns. Yeah, this is going to be fun. but
just to
watching her on stage and with such poise and not being afraid, because all my kids are different. You know, her baby sister, her middle sister, the one youngest after her, she plays violin very well too. I'm not sure if she'd have that poise or not, but to see how she stood up there and do it and take it graciously and play with Alan, that was a great moment for me too.
Yeah, just to double back, I mean, you really got to appreciate their dedication. I mean, we would literally be here working at 10 o'clock at night, doing our thing, and you'll get a text at literally 10 o'clock of them two at your house practicing. So, they didn't take it lightly either. They wanted to pull it off, and they did an excellent job. And, they were dedicated to it, and they nailed it.
And most people don't know, but Alan did not tell Carlito he was playing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a surprise to Carlito. So that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, the whole thing, it was pretty cool. It was like watching a telethon, and I enjoyed it. I also, I got to see the your staff like busting their asses behind the scenes at the shop. The online staff busting their asses every time the site went down. Listen, I don't need to kiss ass. They as soon as the site would go down, they were immediately on the phone. They were immediately on the web. They were fixing it as fast as they could. So it was stressful back there for sure. I kept
Alex, you can correct me, but I think the site really only went down, what, twice? The rest of it was just the error codes of it's selling out before they can get out of the cart, right?
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, no, the site went down twice, maybe 3 times. The one time it was literally down for like 20 seconds and right back up. But yeah, for a lot of people that had something in their car, and then when they went to check out, it wasn't there. That wasn't a site crash. Somebody just checked out before you did, and it was all gone.
Okay. Well, so then maybe, yeah, there was definitely some misunderstanding with some of the guys then.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, man, that's just the way it goes.
In their minds, in that universe, the world crashed.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, with Carlito, the site crashed before we even got the product in stock. So people thought it was sold out, and we're like, no, it's not even actually in there yet. If you guys would stop refreshing, we'll be able to get stop hitting refresh, and we'll get the product in. So everybody thought it was sold out, and we couldn't even get it up yet. And then, those who got it. But yeah, it was a crazy time.
I thought it was an awesome production. I thought it turned out well. I mean, the majority, when I say majority, the vast majority, like 95% of the people that I've seen comment about it were like super thrilled. People in the industry thought it was awesome. I was talking to our Meet Your Maker guest yesterday, Jose Blanco, who's obviously been in the industry for a lot of years, and we'll go more in depth about that when we talk to him. But he's like, Abe set the bar for people now. So now like the other people want to even attempt it.
Sure.
So that's something.
I think other people should attempt it. I think it's a great venue. Just do not call me.
Right. But I got to mention my favorite part of the production is it is when Petro was playing. But I was in the back and I was by Abe's dad. And if you know Abe's dad, he's a great guy. And he's a fun time, but he's an old school man's man. And hardcore, and I love him for that. He's just an old school guy.
My dad uncomfortable hugging me.
Right. So,
my wife, when I first married my wife, and she wants to hug my dad. She's like, your dad feels so awkward. Like when I hug him, I goes, I'm 38 years old. That's how he does it to me.
He's an old school man's man. But when Petra was playing, he was sitting there and he was literally stiff as a board. He didn't blink. He didn't move. Nothing. Like you could tell that in his brain, he's like, if I make any motion, a tear's going to drop and I can't have it. He was stiff.
Actually, true story. I had 2 cousins here with him, and my younger cousin literally says he looked over and he saw 2 tears. 2 tears, and then my dad looked at him, and my cousin had to turn away really quick, act like he was looking. It was like awkward.
Right.
Don't acknowledge that you noticed it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. I'm proud grandpa, of course, but it was a really cool experience. To have any little part of it was kind of cool. I wasn't in the credits or anything, but it was cool.
We didn't put you down as field correspondent?
No.
Slip up. Sorry.
I noticed
It's okay.
Mawa caught the credits. He caught Adam's title.
Oh, I don't even know. What was Adam's title?
You got to watch the credits.
You got to watch the credits.
There was some fun. We had fun making the credits. Doing the credits was our reward.
Yeah.
For putting this broadcast together. We kind of had some fun things we did in the credits. If you haven't watched the credits, go back, watch the credits. You left too early.
I did watch them, but I was preoccupied at the time, so I didn't sit and read every single one, but I saw them. I loved the little videos with the staff. That part was really cool, like the little vignettes of each staff member. That was supposed to be
audio, and it's really funny because now you can see how a lot of stuff ends up on the editing floor because you just can't make it work. And we tried to get the audios, and then the time it, like, all right, just kill the audio. We'll play music in the background. You end up just getting frustrated. And another thing I forgot to mention on the show was Sean Astin had a nice little tribute, and it was one of the things I wanted to talk about because I'm sure people were saying, well, why is Sean Astin, actor, the guy who played Rudy and Lord of the Rings and Goonies. I had the pleasure of last October of being in a movie with him, Marvin Samuel, formerly of Drew Estate, has been working on this movie for I don't know, years now, and it's come to fruition. It stars Sean Astin and Judd Hirsch and Carol Kane, and there's like a cigar, like Marvin called it on the script, the cigar legend scenes, where he had me and some other guys from the industry, Jeff Borshowitz, Eric Espinosa, Christian Aroa, Ryan Lees was there. So there was a bunch of us talking to him in the scene, and he was in the scene. That's where we got to meet him, and he enjoyed cigars. So it was very nice to him to send us that message, and that's kind of how he correlated. But I think Marvin's movie, I, Mordecai, is going to come out sometime this year. I really can't wait. It's I think going to be it's not a documentary. It's like a real film. And I read the screenplay. I've seen parts of it. It's extremely funny, and it's very it's good. It's going to be good to see a full-length feature film that's cigar centric. You know, the last one I can even remember was, you know, Blue Smoke, Harvey Keitel. You know, and I think there was two of them. Blue Smoke was maybe the first or second one, but I'm going back over 20 some years, maybe 30. But it'll be good to see this. So I'm very excited for my dear friend Marvin, and can't wait to see it come out this year. I, Mordecai.
Yeah,
so,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, keep your eye out for it. So I think we have a spotlight feature this week, Paul.
We do.
All
we
right,
do.
man,
So
let's cue it up.
Okay, our spotlight feature. We have Mr. Rafael Nodal.
Hey guys! Hello from Brazil.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you? Thank you for having me here. What an amazing opportunity to talk a little bit about this cigar. And also, guys, before we start with that, I want to say congratulations to Abe and all of you for an amazing job you guys did last week. I was listening to you guys talk a little bit about the highlights, and I will recommend, guys, if you need to do a little highlight show, right? So a show that you put a little bit of highlights and do it in 3 or 4 different shows, because for someone that have loved the TV, I've done some radio, I work on some TV as well. This program not only has a tremendous production value, but it has been entertaining. It was a very entertaining, educational. You guys did an amazing job. And by the way, Abe, about your daughter. I mean, as you know, I started playing violin when I was 6 years old. What a great, I mean, actually, I posted a picture of me playing violin in my first recital after I saw that, because I was moved and I really thought that perhaps I should have continued music. That was very inspiring. Congratulations to you as a father. Because when you're a father of someone playing violin at the beginning, right? The first year, it's not easy, because that sound, and she's doing a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rafael. So I'm holding here this beautiful, carnival themed packaging here of your newest version of Trinidad, the Espiritu Series number 2. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, and look at the color, guys. That talks about Brazil, and actually having my green glasses today. You see the in the back the football. Well, we introduced the first Trinidad Espiritu last year, a year and a half ago, and it was the spirit of Caribbean, the spirit of Cuba, and we wanted to have fun. One of these things that I love about this industry is not only meeting people like you guys and the consumer, but it's actually having fun. Not only with the blending of the cigar, but now that I'm working on marketing, being able to create all these fantastic ideas. And obviously, Brazil is a country that has not only a fantastic history, great music, the carnival, the great drink, great food, but also fantastic tobacco. So we decided to incorporate some Brazilian tobacco blended with some Nicaraguan tobacco and come out with what we call the Spirit of Brazil.
And this is on store shelves now, yes?
It started just now. I think this is the first show that we actually do to promote it. I want to make sure this was the place. As you know, I love your show. I listen to it. I watch it every Saturday morning. My wife doesn't like it too much because I don't do shit during the morning watching this show, smoking my cigar and enjoying my cup of coffee with your KMA my cup. And by the way, I had until maybe about a month ago, which I changed the license plate on my car. It was KMA. This is how much I love the show.
Now, how many different vitolas is this offered in?
This comes in 4 vitolas, and it comes in a Robusto, in a Toro, and the one that I'm smoking right now, which is the Magnum 6x60. But also, for the first time, we added the Fundador. It's a beautiful Lancero. You know, Lancero is a connoisseur side. In the number one, the Spirito number one, we had it only as an event. Later on, we put it out there. But on this one, right from the beginning, because people have been asking, Fundador, the size, Trinidad is a Cuban brand, has a history about 50 some years right now. And we just wanted to have fun. But that Fundador is a classic side, and it's something that the blend really you can taste the different aspects of the blend. Because we use, we were talking right before the show, we use an Arapiraca wrapper from Brazil. That, you know, it's a fantastic wrapper. We fermented extremely well. AJ, this is a collaboration with AJ Fernandez. It's been produced at the AJ factory, San Lotano. And not only we use that, but we also use a fantastic Habano grown in Brazil. The Habano seed from Cuba, as you know, have been grown in Dominican Republic, it's been grown in Nicaragua, in even Ecuador, and in Pennsylvania a little bit, and also in Brazil. And the blending of those tobaccos with the Nicaraguan Habano just is full of flavor. It's a medium to full blend, but it just has a tremendous amount of aroma. Look at white ash like this. Look at that wrapper. It's beautiful, dark, oily, and it's full of flavors. This is the only cigar, maybe when you light it up, you're going to hear some samba, you're going to see some dancings, and you're going to feel like you're in Brazil.
Like in the background on your TV.
Like it. Look, what a coincidence. They give me the carnival. Well, you know, listen, in the north, it's very, very cold today. It's been cold this winter. Here in Florida, I posted a little video this morning. It was very windy here by the beach. But listen, we can be transported. If you're like me that couldn't go to Carnival this year, this is a perfect way. Put some music, relax, enjoy, listen, or watch the KMA light up at Trinidad Espiritu, and you'll feel new.
2 quick questions before we let go. First off, one of our dear socialites and fans, Tim Chi, who's listening to us from halfway across the world, wanted to know, which size do you prefer best in this? Is it the one you're smoking now?
You know, I am not really a 6x60 smoker. I smoke mostly 52, 54 ring sizes. In the Fundador, in this one is fantastic. But we paid a lot of attention to the 6x60. It's a size that people really like, and it's been trended a lot lately. And we did a special blending for this one, and it has become my favorite on this brand. Yes, absolutely. 6x60 Magnum.
And the other question I have is, Brazil is very well known for the Mata Fina. You know, that's the wrapper that it's known for. What made you choose the Arapiraca?
We try the Mata Fina and the Arapiraca for this one. The Mata Fina is a fantastic tobacco as well. It's less strong. It has less stronger flavor than this. The Mata Fina is just great, but this one we felt with the process, the fermentation process that AJ did on this, it really brings the earthy flavor and that dark roasted cocoa flavors and notes to the cigar. So this is why we chose that.
Okay, so This is available on smokein.com, Alex. You said somebody said coming soon. It's already up there, Paul. It's up on
It's up there. It's ready to go.
We have a promo through this weekend. Anybody watching this today and tomorrow, if you want to give this shot a try, you can get 15% off on 5-packs or boxes. I'll just use the code KMA15. If you want to snap that on the bottom somewhere, Paul, KMA15, that'll get you 15% off this weekend only. If you'd like to try a box or a 5-pack, Raphael, thank you so much for joining us. As always, a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for letting me talk to your listeners about the fantastic cigar we're doing. Thank you for the support. And again, congratulations for the amazing job that you guys did last week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Raphael. Always good to have him on the show.
Always entertaining.
Always full of energy.
Always full of energy.
That's true, actually.
Maybe
great piano player, too.
I was say maybe next year we can get him on the piano.
Yeah, he was when the pandemic first started. I used to watch his videos because he would sit with a cigar and play piano just on live Facebook. It was so like soothing and calming. I would put my phone on and sit outside and putz around and pretend to be working, but and listening to Raphael.
I think what would be funny is because Petra is a pretty well-versed piano player too. If we can get him and Petra to do dueling pianos.
Listen, man, it's one of my favorite things in the world to see. There's a place in Disney that does dueling pianos. It is the coolest night out, man. It's called Jelly Rolls. It's on the boardwalk, and it's been closed since the pandemic started, but that place is amazing. There's nothing like that.
They used to have one in Jupiter called 99 Keys or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whatever the number of piano keys in our piano, double it. That was the number of keys. And
88.
88 keys then. Yeah, I don't know if it's still there, but it used to be pretty good because we used to live up there in Jupiter.
I'm just picturing myself now because, during the Great Smoke, I was all over the place, making sure everybody was in their spot, who was here, get this ready. Now I can just see my heartache of making sure two, not one, but two pianos are in the right place at the right time.
Oh, I have people, actually, if you need help with piano rentals. They'll sponsor it probably, too.
We had a guy years ago in the old West Palm store, God rest his soul, when Avo was still alive. We had bought a baby grand piano into the courtyard, and we had this big event called A Night Under the Stars with Avo Levisi.
And Avo played? Oh, that is cool.
We got him a 5-piece accompaniment. It was a very cool night. I think I posted every now and then. If you're in our the Smoke Inn Facebook socialite group, I think I posted that night. I think, yeah, I did. I'll dig deep into the archives of my photos and post something from 15, 20 years ago. I think I made a post about it.
Very cool. Well, we got a jam-packed show, so why don't we get to our Meet Your Maker?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
It's time to meet your maker.
And this week, with a storied past in the cigar industry, and I'm sure plenty of behind-the-scenes cigar stories from all the places he's worked, we are pleased to be joined by Mr. Jose Blanco of Arturo Fuente International. Welcome to the show, Jose.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, Alex, Paul, and Abe? First of all, I want to take the opportunity to thank all the hundreds of people while I was in the hospital for 24 days for their prayers and thoughts. Also, if you think that COVID is the flu, take my word, it's not the flu. And the second thing is, I was talking to Paul yesterday, and I'm not saying this because I've known Abe for many years. What you guys all pulled off last weekend, in my humble opinion, for what it's worth, was history in the making. Just to get all that going, could you say it was 100% everything correct? No. But in my rating, it gets a 95 plus, big time, because it's not easy to do it live. We all know that. I think it was perfect. I think it was entertaining. And I think that a lot of people, maybe you don't want to be stuck seeing it 8 hours. But when you have time, see an amazing show. And I think it's something that will go down in history. And after seeing that, like Abe said, I don't want anybody calling me sober. Congratulations to Abe, Michael Herlock, Paul, Alex, the whole team. It was amazing. And I'm not saying this to be, I'm not a bullshitter, straight shooter. It was great for the industry, great for the consumer, great for the companies, and overall great for our industry.
Thank you very much. And, it's funny because I'm reading some of the comments, and I think one of the things that people forget is this was live. This was 7.5 hours live with no breaks, and people don't. Tim McCabe said, "Is there a blooper reel?" I mean, you saw the bloopers. There was no cuts. There was no polish. Even the poor production guy says, "I hear you have live entertainment." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, when are we doing sound checks for the music?" I'm like, "Sound checks? These guys are getting here like 45 minutes before they go on stage. We'll be in the middle of the show. There's no sound checks." So even the format where we did it was very unorthodox for the production team. And we had a magician mentalist who had a two-part act during the show, and our team was reaching out to everybody who was going to be live on set to confirm their makeup time and their broadcast time. And this is on Thursday, right before the show Saturday, and this guy sends an email back saying, "Makeup? What do you mean makeup?" For the camera and the lights. He goes, "Isn't this a virtual event?" And she's like, "It's a virtual event for everybody else. You're performing in front of a live camera." And this guy, and the contract said it, and the guy didn't even realize it. And then we had to spend Friday filling in 2 entertainment spots before the show Saturday. I mean, it was crazy, but that's live. You want to do live television. You got to roll with the punches. I mean, we had that Zoom thing that we thought was a great idea, but it went haywire. But it was funny. I mean, we rolled with it, and Michael, being awesome as he is, just made a good thing out of anything that kind of went sour. So it was great. But more importantly, I'm glad to see you looking so good, my friend. I know we're going back and forth, texting, and you're halfway across the world, and you look really good. So that's good to see.
The only thing that's happened, and I forgot to say, your daughter, which I haven't seen in years, and Alan, of course, I see him all the time. Also amazing. I think it was one of the highlights of the show. But going back, yes, I'm feeling great. The only thing is that I've been 60 days after smoking for 55 years. It's been 60 days without smoking, so I'm almost climbing up the walls. But the doctor this week said that I could start around the 15th of March. She said, because her husband is a big cigar smoker, start off one a day, kind of mild, and I'm gonna, for at least the first week, one a day, then I'll move up to medium, and then I'll see. But I'm just glad. Look, to be honest, I'm just glad to be alive and working for a great company and seeing you guys too.
Well, we're glad you're doing well, my friend.
Absolutely.
So, Jose, you're extremely well known, extremely well respected in the industry. I think your show, Meet the Professor, has gotten you out there. But give our listeners who may not be that familiar a little background on your history in this industry.
Well, how many hours do we have for this? We got like 3 days?
Give us the abridged version.
No, I'm going to give the short version of it. Look, my father was a political exile from Trujillo, who was in power for 31 years. So my grandmother, at the age 17, sent him to the States. He finished school there, went to the army, became a citizen, paid his taxes. And when Trujillo was killed, we came back. So growing up in New York, seeing my father smoking cigars all the time, and coming back to Dominican Republic, going to Hochi Blanco, my father's cousin's factory. At the age of 14 and a half, I started to smoke. My mother was not too happy with it. She found out, and Dad said, at the age of 16, you could legally smoke. But when I was 16, he brought me a little bundle of cigars in front of my mother. See, okay, 16 is going to smoke. And then he pulled me aside and said, "I know you've been taking my cigars." So really, after 18, 19, started smoking a couple of cigars a day. Then it was two or three cigars a week. Then it started every day. And then smoking more and more, smoking cigars from all over. Then I worked for Grupo Leon Jimenez that owned La Aurora. So I was smoking there a lot. I was on the smoking panel. Then in 1999, Guillermo's father, Guillermo, asked me to come over. I was there till 2011, sales director, master blender. Then I supposedly retired. Then I got a lot of offers from a lot of companies. And look, don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against big companies, but I've always believed in family-owned business. So I went to work for Jodia Nicaragua 2 years as the senior vice president. Contract came up. I want to go to back to DR. My wife and I started with Señoría. That was doing very, very good, to be honest, till the FDA came up with this thing of 2016. 2016, the date of August 8th. And when I saw all the things that the FDA wanted to do and all the testing and how much this was going to cost at my age to really put $500,000-$600,000 at risk. My wife continues with the business, but I said, I'm not going to take this risk. Then I talked to Ernie. Ernie was looking for somebody. We agreed, worked for years with him. And then after that, my father, who had died, had left us business and land in DR. My lawyer, that was my friend, died, and I had to make a decision to take August, September, October, November to straighten everything out. Then Carlito and I would always have dinner once in a while. In December, he invited me for dinner. We talked. Then in January, February, I started going to the farm, going to the factory, and we made each other a deal we couldn't refuse. And I was going back to live in Europe. And for those who don't know, I've been friends with Carlito, Cynthia, for many, many years with Carlito. So I feel like to end my career, I'm doing it with people that I love, that I trust, that I admire. And I've told Carlito, I think if I'm healthy and God didn't take me away with COVID now, I'll probably do it till 80. But after 80, I can't guarantee anything.
Wow.
So you're still in the business after how many years ago, supposedly retiring?
I've retired 3 times. Look, and to be honest, the majority of people at my age, 71, already on a rocking chair or taking care of grandkids and things like that. But no, I just, it's in my blood. Even when I was in the hospital, I was doing my Facebook. I was reaching out to people, all my clients and all that. Not the first couple of days, because to be honest, the first 4 or 5 days, I thought I was gone. But after the 7th, 8th day, they took the oxygen away. And it was just taking care of me. I said, I'm going to be here for a while. And I know that Carlito's listening. And like I said, Carlito, and I'm going to say it public, I'm not doing anything after 80. So please try to find somebody from when I'm after 80.
They got a little bit of time left.
You know, speaking of Carlito, I'd like to get a little your take on your show, Meet the Professor, because you know, Carlito likes to joke. He likes to say how he gets nervous around me, you know, and you know,
we all do.
Come on, it's the other way around. I get nervous when I'm around him. You know, I mean, I've been, you know, around. I've had the pleasure of interacting with him now for almost a quarter of a century, and you know, Carlito is one of my opinions of what I like to call very magical people in this industry. Right? There's an aura, there's a spirit, there's an essence of what, not just about the cigars, but about like what I like to call the culture of the cigars and the culture of the people in this industry. Because I've said it before, it wasn't the product that lured me to this industry. It was the lifestyle and culture. And one of the most beautiful things I think that happened last year was, you know, you didn't have to go to a trade show to hopefully run into him and be exposed to him or some major event or go to Vegas. You know, he really opened himself up to the world. And I think a lot of people who normally wouldn't have access to getting to know Carlito and even Jeremiah and even yourself, I think it was a great byproduct of what everybody went through last year. How did that whole show come about, Meet the Professor?
Well, to be honest, I got, you know, when Carlito and I started to talk in January, February, I was supposed to travel. Anybody who knows me knows that I used to travel 35, 36, even 38 weeks out of the year doing seminars all over the world. So Jeremiah came up with the idea. And all of a sudden, he calls me up. What do you think of that? He calls on Carlito. So let's start doing the show. We tried to do it every day, but then it came to a time. We figured out we're going to run out of people. Then we're going to do it on Fridays. Then we said, look, let's just do it on Sundays. But the very unique thing about our show is that we do not promote our brand. What we try to bring in is family-owned companies, people who have a story to tell, people who could add value to other companies, to consumers, to store owners. We've had you, we've had Dave Garofalo, we've had Gary Pesch, we had Ken and Julie Newman last week. We've had Ernie on the show, we've had Hochi on the show, Don Alberto Turren, George Brightman, which is, I mean, when you talk about somebody that knows cigars, I take my hat off to George Brightman. I think if there's 5 great palates in the States, I'm not going to say George is number 1 or George is number 5, but he's in my book, in the book of many really true cigar makers. George Brightman's there. So we've had also Reinhold, we've had Gordon Mott. But what we want people is to tell their story. Because, Abe, and I've known you for many years, people see you with 10 shops. They did this virtual that you did. But like you talked on the show, you had to go through a lot of hard stuff. Look at all the things that Carlito and Don Carlos had to go through. Burned down in Nicaragua. They go to Honduras, burned down again. They go to DR. Nobody's opening up to them. They start with 5 or 6 rollers, and look what they have created. And one thing that Carlito, since I've known him for, I think it's now 34, 35 years, it's not about the money. It's not about cigar. It's all about people. You go to the Fuente factory, you're going to see people that have been there 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. You're going to see the sons of people who started with them working there. So you got to ask yourself, what is it? It's like I've always says, there's not successful companies. It's successful people that make companies great.
Wow. I mean, I totally relate to that, and I get it. And I think that's why your show has been so popular, because that's the basic principle we started and how we run KMA. I mean, Paul used to give everybody the lowdown, don't mention Smoke Inn. Because when we started 10 years ago, or we weren't as popular or as well known as we are today. So we wanted to run a show that was a show. So we traveled to other stores. We've been to Jeff's store at Corona. We've been to Paul Grove's store in Michigan. We've been to Draper's out in Washington, D.C. We've been to Tampa at the Tampa Humidor. We promote anything cigar centric, anybody in the industry. We have manufacturers on who necessarily we don't carry their brand as on the cigar side of our business. So we've always had that philosophy. Let's just make a show, about a lifestyle, about what we like to share. And you guys do the exact same thing. You have your competitors on, you have retailers on. And I think that's what makes the show more legitimate, because no one wants to watch an infomercial for an hour or two, because that's what it becomes otherwise.
Right.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I mean, we've talked to people that in the beginning didn't see it, and now they're requesting, like, what was the show with George, with Abe, with Arturo also. I mean, every show, it doesn't matter who's been on the show, people have complimented us, but they've also have learned. Because like I always say, unless you inherit billions of dollars, everybody starts small. So it's a history, and everybody learns. And the other thing that I like when we have successful retailers on, and I've asked you that question, why do so many retailers fail? And it's different. The answer you gave, or Gary Pesch gave, or Dave Garofalo gave, everybody gives something different.
It's a great question.
We have an Ask KMA question for you, Jose, about the Meet the Professor show. How did the name come about? Where did the name Meet the Professor come from?
Listen, I got to give credit, and I know there's a lot of people that are on the show today. Look, people call me the professor, they call me the guru. That is all stuff. Look, I can name 20 people who know more about tobacco than me. The only difference is they're going to take that knowledge to the grave. And whatever I know, I'm going to share it. And to be honest, the person that many, many, many years ago gave me that nickname of the professor was my good friend, Matty Rock, that a lot of people know. So he always says to me when I started working with Fuente, says, can I get like something free from Carlito? Because I was the guy that gave you the name of the professor. So it stayed for years and years, to be honest. But like Carlito says, he's a humble cigar maker, born in a tin roof in Tampa. I'm just a humble guy that if I've had the pleasure and the honor to meet some of the greatest minds out there. That is something, and I give credit to myself, to Guillermo's father, to Carlito, Don Carlos, what I learned in Nicaragua, Benji Menendez, and I've had the opportunity to meet all the greats. Yeah, that's an amazing cigar, without a doubt.
Actually, my first box purchase ever was a Don Carlos No. 2.
And talking about that, people ask me, anybody who's been on my seminar, when I've been asked, what's the best rapper in the world? My personal opinion, it's Cameroon. True Cameroon, grown in Cameroon by the Merafel family. Now, you could go, the three of you could go tomorrow to Cameroon and start growing tobacco. And I will be the first one to say, Alex, Abe, and Paul are growing great tobacco in Cameroon. But you cannot call Cameroon something that's not grown in Cameroon. I'm not going to get into the details of people who say it, don't say it. But what is really Cameroon? It's a Sumatra seed that the Merafel family, well, before that was Seita, started to grow it there. The Merafel family in time have done a lot of things with it. But you can't call Cameroon something that's not growing Cameroon. If you take Cameroon, what are the characteristics of true Cameroon? You put it in your mouth, and you're going to pick up that sweetness of Cameroon wrapper. And then when you're smoking it, you're going to get those sweet notes and those spicy notes. But you take Sumatra seed grown in Honduras, Nicaragua, and Ecuador, it's going to be more earthy and spicy, and that's not going to have so much sweetness. Now, does that mean that it's bad? No, it's just different. You cannot call Cameroon something that's not grown in Cameroon.
Like Kentucky bourbon.
Right.
I didn't hear you.
Like Kentucky bourbon.
Exactly.
Or champagne.
Or champagne, yeah. There you have it. Now, you're currently in Macedonia?
Yeah, in Skopje. I've been coming here for 11 years. We have, anybody who's seen my Facebook has seen me feeding the ducks and the swans and the geese in the morning. I'll tell you, the geese are nasty. So we have a beautiful apartment here. We have a lake here, a lot of security. A lot of people live here that are pretty well off. People say to me, how can you live where you live? And I say, well, Em and I are only really the poor people who live here.
I wonder if Risti Riavetsky has family that lives around by you.
Right.
Yeah,
I mentioned that yesterday.
Yeah, Risky's, I think I saw him on the show. Yeah, he's from here, and he's a cigar geek.
Yeah, he is.
I'm a big fan of Macedonia. Oddly, you know, I have the, let me see if I can get it. Being that I'm half naked, but I have the most famous Macedonian tattooed on my arm here. Alexander the Great. Yeah. So I've always been a fan of Macedonia and the culture and the history. They were like the barbarians of the Greek world almost.
It's only 2 million people. It's a great little country here. Hardly any crime. You can go out anytime. You don't got a lot of stuff that a lot of countries have to go through, but it's great. The food is great. The people are great. It's not a big cigar community, but there's some nice cigar clubs here, and it's picking up a little bit more and more. Nice. So it's great. It has a lot of history to it.
Oh my God, Randy Bush made the best comment. Alexander the Goat. That's great. Alexander the Goat.
Alex, I've always been a fan of you, but now just move you up on the top of the list. And it's not Alexander the Goat; it's Alexander the Great.
That's right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jose, how did you pick Macedonia to live? How did that come up?
Well, okay, I'll tell you. To be honest, my wife, anybody who knows her well, her father used to be one of the heads of Swedish Match. So Emma, at the age of 24, started to work with Swedish Match, and she was the head of sales and marketing from Macedonia all the way to Russia. So when she was living here, her father made some investments here, and in the investment, he just left this beautiful apartment. So we were coming back and forth in this. And then I've always been a big fan of Europe. I love Europe a lot. I used to take vacations 2 and 3 weeks to come here. And I like Greece a lot. I mean, she grew up, even though she was born in Sweden, she spent all her life living in France, part in Hungary, living in Macedonia. And
is that her in the painting behind you?
No, that's one of the paintings of a famous painter called, her last name is Lampika something there. She was Polish. So we have a lot of nice painting here. She likes, she's the artist of the family.
Okay. Well, very cool. Yeah, Macedonia, it seems like I obviously from school, I know of Alexander the Great, but I really, until we met Risti, I could tell you where it was on a map, but I couldn't tell you anything else about it. And being friends with Risti on Facebook, he always posts his cooking and how this is real Macedonian cooking, and he's always pitching the culture, which seems like a really cool place. And I'm a big fan of Europe myself too, so that's pretty cool. Abe, you want to go to a break?
Yeah, we're going to go to a break. We're going to go to break now, really quick. Up after the break, of course, we got our man, the Scoop with Coop. We got a Sane Asylum. We got the Tale of the Tape. So we got some fun stuff. Did our Sane Asylum guest ever get back to you? Is it happening?
Yeah, it was going to be a surprise, but I spoke to him at 10:30 our time. What was that, 6:30 his time? And he said he's available now. And I said, great, we'll need you in an hour like we discussed last night. He said, okay, I'll stay awake.
Still 50-50 though, right?
I would say 50-50.
We might have for the first time ever, our focus of the Insane Asylum may actually be on the show. So stay tuned. We'll be back really quick. Keep it lit.
Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause cancers of the mouth and throat, even if you do not inhale. Celebrating 85 years of success, the Monte Cristo 1935 anniversary is a tribute to the outstanding accomplishments Monte Cristo has achieved since the brand's inception. This cigar comes from the creative minds of Rafael Nadal, AJ Fernandez, and the Grupo de Maestros. It is a full-body Nicaraguan puro that pays homage to the original tobaccos used in the very first Monte Cristo cigar. Flavor notes you'll detect while smoking are pepper, cedar, and chocolate, all of which pair perfectly with a cappuccino. No matter what 4 sizes you pick, this classic smoke will send you on a trip down memory lane and all the way back to 1935. Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause cancers of the mouth and throat, even if you do not inhale.
Oh, hello. Taking a little bit of a break from KMA Talk Radio right now and enjoying some Bonner Private Wines. This wine is Sunal, and it is from the 3rd highest vineyard in the world. What that means is the grapes are under strain, and the flavor is just terrific. And of course, with your favorite tobacco, cigar, pipe, it's a classy, sophisticated way to enjoy some wine. As I take a sip now in the morning, it's okay. Well, Jose Blanco is in Macedonia, so it's Europe. So this is a perfect time to sip a little bit of wine. Want to tell you a little bit about Bonner Private Wines. KMA listeners actually get a discount. So if you go to KMAWines.com or visit KMATalkRadio.com and click the Bonner Private Wines banner there, you get a discount. And we could be enjoying this during KMA Talk Radio together. So if you want to live the refined life like we do here in my home in Wellington, Florida, I would definitely love to tell you to join us and check out KMAWines.com. I'm not only a sponsor, but I am also a member.
My mic is muted. Paul getting creative in his segment there.
Beautiful, I think the aristocrat.
His Broadway background is fighting to seep through in these moments. But, that was interesting. Bonner Wines, actually, I enjoy it too. We've gotten some from the sponsors. So if you're a wine person, I definitely say it's worth a try. Give it a try, and if you're going to do it, go to KMAWines.com. Was that the dog?
Is that the cat?
Sorry. It ruined my whole segment. The dogs are.
Your cat barks?
So was it your cat barks? That's great. So your dog was not supposed to be a part of the segment. He just wandered in the room.
She has she has a problem. My dog. That's the one that's on Prozac, and she is obsessed with me. So she has like separation anxiety and needs to literally be touching me at all times. So during the show, she's sitting on my foot during the entire show. I mean, she's a mental case. I love her, but oh my God. Imagine having a 2-year-old and a 10-month-old going crazy all day, and you're trying to work from home, and there's a dog sitting on your foot all day long. A 50-pound dog, by the way. She just needs to be with me. She's what I wish I said to my wife last night, there's got to be a happy medium between how much my dog loves me and how much my wife loves me. Like somewhere in there, because my wife keeps her distance from me and the dog won't leave me the hell alone. So like if you gave me even half of the affection that Nala gives me, this would be a perfect marriage.
There's an old saying, stick your wife and your dog in the trunk of your car for 24 hours and then come back and open the trunk and see which one still loves you.
I already know. If I had to choose which one loves me more, I already know the answer to that. One would dump me like that.
It's because Stephanie is smarter. But listen, what you need to do is get one of those like kid backpacks and just throw your dog in the back.
Right. There you go.
She's 50 pounds. I can't do that. The little one I could do that with. The little one's the one that's barking.
You need the exercise. Throw the dog up there.
I do need the exercise. I hope that looked okay. I wasn't even. I want to look at the comments. So, Cynthia Fuente is actually watching. Oh, thank you. Cheers, Cynthia. And by the way, I'm really drinking wine now. What time is it here? It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not going to stop now. So back to our Meet Your Maker segment. Enough about me. You know I hate talking about myself.
Well, you do get credit on that commercial. I mean, they should send you an extra case of wine for that one.
You know what? I have purchased wine from them as well, but they have been very generous with us with the wine. And my wife's a sommelier, so it's actually very good wine, especially that Sunal that Abe and I have talked about on the air before. It really is a very good Argentinian wine, really, really good. And I enjoy it. We had it with steak the other night, so that's why the bottle is still open. That's literally what's left from 3 bottles that we had here.
Wow. Good stuff. So, Jose, let me ask them, what would they do in Macedonia? Would they give a dog Prozac in Macedonia? I mean, would any of your neighbors even consider giving a dog prescription medicine in Macedonia?
Okay, who did that, Paul?
Yeah, Paul's dog prescription drug now for I don't know how many years. Jose's like, no comment.
No, I'm gonna say like on our show, people call up and ask us. Look, one of the great things about our show, people send all these questions. Why does this manufacturer do this or do that or this or that? So and I've done it all my life when people doing seminars that I've done more than 15 or 1,600 worldwide. When it's a catch-22 question, I said, no hablo inglés.
That's
so
funny.
on this case, I don't know what Paul's into, but Prozac for a dog, you have issues.
See, Paul,
my dad shakes his head whenever they're here and it's time for her pill, because I just go over to the pill bottle and shake it, and both dogs come running because they get a treat afterwards. And she sits and literally opens her mouth for me to put the pill into her mouth, and he's like I've disappointed him somehow. When your parents they don't say that they're mad at you or upset with you, you can just tell that they're disappointed in you. I get that every time I give my dog a Prozac pill.
I don't know if that's disappointment or shame.
Might be a little bit of both.
Might be a little bit of both.
In Macedonia, they would probably just open the door and let the dog go out. They'd just say, "Listen, you need Prozac. Go find help."
Probably.
So, Jose, now you're in Macedonia. and obviously Fuente has a worldwide presence without a doubt. What's your role on what you're doing over there? Are you are you in the sales over there? Are you in the marketing? In normal circumstances.
Well, and normal was, when I was started in March, and it's next week is going to be my first year with Fuente. We already had mapped out traveling for about 25, 26 weeks. Germany, Holland, Lebanon, the Far East, probably China, Hong Kong, Switzerland, which is a big market for us. But all of a sudden, all along comes COVID and stopped. So what I deal, even though on an everyday basis, like everybody who's seen, I go to bed at 12 o'clock at night. I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I start calling people in Malaysia, Singapore, China. Then I go to our African, Middle East customers. Then I do Eastern Europe, Western Europe. I still got to do some things with the States also. So I call up our distributors. I organize training seminars, blending seminars, tasting seminars, trying to open up new markets. Because for us, it's not about everybody knows every cigar that we make is sold. We're in back order. I don't know how many years since, I don't know, maybe the last 15 years we've been in back order, and this COVID situation is making a little. What we want to have is presence, but we want to have presence with good distributors, because I get calls from countries we're not in. I'm not going to say every day, but at least twice a week. I get an email or they send something to the office. So what do we evaluate when we want to do business? First of all, how many brands do you have? Or if you're new a distributor, what are you looking for? Because if you're just looking in to bring in brands and try to make money, with all due respect, you're not what we're looking for. We want to find people who are passionate about it. Of course, the bottom line is you got to make money, but you have to have that passion. And I've bumped into distributors that are really, really passionate. They're willing to do seminars. They're willing to do training. They're willing to do virtual with their customers. And then you have people that, well, I'm going to think about it. I don't think people are going to like it. I'm not going to mention the country. We started with a country, and the first one was with 8 people. The last time we did it, we had 40 people on the virtual, and all of them cigar geeks. And they inbox me. They want to add me to Instagram. They write to me on Facebook asking questions. Because to be honest, the more educated the consumer is, it is better for the retailer. The more educated that the retailer is, it's going to be better for the distributor.
Now, you're traveling many countries in Europe, and we got a good question from my dear friend Kurt Kendall. He wants to know, how many languages do you speak?
Oh, I only speak, I barely speak 2. Now, my wife, and anybody who knows her, she speaks 5.5 because she says she doesn't know Russian. But every time we meet with Russians, even some that live here, it's always so she speaks Russian, even though she says she doesn't.
Jose, where would you say your biggest presence is in Europe?
Germany.
Germany?
Really?
Germany.
And so people understand, of all the cigars made in the world, we estimate 65% of them are consumed in the United States. And for many years, Spain was the second biggest consumer of cigars in the world. And because of the economy in Spain and all that, now Germany is the second highest consumer of cigars in the world. Probably go to Spain, number 3 still. But I can tell you one thing: the European market has changed so much because of the presence of what they call New World cigars or the non-Cubans. Because look, I don't want to get into the theme of Cubans and that, but when you're paying 25, 30 euros for a cigar that doesn't draw, I mean, it has a...
Kids don't listen, huh?
Yeah, he's...
Story of my life, Jose.
Yeah, well, I got an 8-year-old that thinks he's 15, but...
That's great.
It's great.
It's funny because when we have our KMA meetings, Abe actually does the same exact thing to Paul. So...
And the worst thing, to be honest, The problem is, look, with all these virtuals, he was like a month in virtual. And then in his class, there was a kid that got it, and they did it for 15 days more. And to be locked up, I mean, it isn't easy. And everybody remembers the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. That's what Em and I feel. We're back to school. I mean, they're asking a kid that's in second grade things that we got to look at each other and say, what is it? We don't get it.
Right.
As long as you don't attempt a triple Lindy, we're fine.
Wow, what a reference.
Yes.
That's nice. Great movie, by the way.
Yes. People are, it's funny. We know you're old because now I bet you like half our audience is Googling triple Lindy right now.
Well, if they want, they just got to go and see Back to School. It was a great movie.
Great movie.
I mean, and the funny thing about it that sometimes I have time and I go to YouTube, and there's two things that are really cracking me up. It's all the Dean Martin roasts, and the stuff that's said there, you can't say it today. You can't even say today the Jeffersons. You can't say All in the Family, Archie Bunker, Sanford and Son, even Barney Miller. Those things are, you can't say it today. So these, if you really want to have fun, you have like 15 to 20 minutes. Just go YouTube, put in Dean Martin roast, and you're just going to laugh crazy.
Absolutely.
Classics.
Absolutely. So we now have ready to go is our correspondent, Abe.
Oh, is Coop available? Are we gonna guess what room he's in?
We could do that. Oh, let me see where. Well, I don't know if it's fair to do it this time because Coop. I can say this. He's traveling, so it's not fair because he's not at his house. So it's probably not fair to have people guess.
Yeah, well, let's get him on. Did we lose Jose?
No, he's here. He's still here.
Okay. There he is.
All right. Well, let's get our man. Let's get our man Coop on and see what's the scoop with Coop.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
Live from an undisclosed location, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, Mr. William Cooper. Coop!
Oh. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hey, Coop.
Hey, Jose.
Coop, can you tell us where you are?
I'm not ready to say where I am, but I did take a personal trip this week. Far. It's a very social distance trip. So I'm not visiting people. I'm not visiting shops. But I did. This is my first time I'm on the road in 12 months. And I was telling people it's different because one thing I had to get used to is driving at night. I haven't driven at night in a year. So that was just like, and it's weird when you don't do that for a while, how difficult it is. But it is a personal trip that I did. I'm going to talk more about it next week. But it's not related to my day job or anything. It actually is more some downtime, and I'm not in Florida, is what I'll say.
Are you in another country, or are you within the States?
I'm in the States, and I'm in another time zone, so it's a lot earlier here.
Well, Coop, wherever
this is weird.
You should stay there because this is the best audio and video we've had from you in weeks. It's
I had to actually find I actually do have a smoking hotel room.
Nice.
But I had to find a hotel room that I knew had internet connection. So I did shift there.
Nice.
But I'll talk more. I'll talk a little more next week. There's reasons why I don't want to talk about it this week, but I'll talk more next week about this trip for sure.
That's almost
you're not going to give him.
That's a teaser. That's a teaser.
Well,
yeah, that is a teaser.
The problem is I'm not seeing anyone, and I'm on a social distance trip, and I don't want to be saying no to everybody where I am. Because the second I say it, that's where the problem's going to be, and I don't want to tell. But right now I am social distancing. So this is very much a lone wolf trip.
Are you wearing the old KMA hat?
This is the one I just got. This was sent in the package with the T-shirt.
I swore we made Blue Wave hats. Maybe we didn't.
I got the Blue Wave shirt.
No, you have, but I don't have one either.
Oh wait, Paul. Okay, Paul's got. Okay, Coop's got the new one. Paul, you wearing the old one?
Paul's wearing
the old one. This is the original hat.
right.
Coop has the middle hat, and then you did a blue wave one as well. But I haven't. I don't have that one.
Sent Coop the wrong hat. You gotta love my team.
I'm happy they gave me the hat. I love the hat, so it's good.
We wanted to get you the blue wave hat. We'll get you.
I love the blue wave logo, but it's fantastic.
I can't believe you're not giving Coop more shit about this, Abe. That he can't tell us where he is.
Dude, I get it. He's a nice guy. He doesn't want to tell a bunch of people, I can't see you and whatever. I get it.
Yeah, I'm not going to shops. It's not like I'm visiting people. I'm staying on like first floors of hotels, so I don't have to get in elevators. It's literally I'm taking a lot of. I've been double masking and stuff like that.
Good for you.
So yeah.
Everybody's got to stay in their comfort zone, man. I respect it.
Yeah.
Yep. And by the way, I really want to thank you because, shockingly, we didn't get a lot of, like people who actually wrote or talked about TGS afterwards, and you wrote one of the coolest and very professional stories afterwards, talking about it and the significance of it, and I appreciate that. And I didn't even know you were going to do that. I read it for the first time after you made the post, so thank you very much.
Abe, look, you're welcome, and again, I can echo what everyone else has said. Jose said it. This was historical, and to see this for our industry was fantastic. To pull off 7.5 hours of transitions was amazing. I mean, you mentioned there were no bloopers, and I was kind of thinking, I'm like, there were no bloopers. I mean, the Zoom thing I get was complicated. And look, I know you're going to look at this and say we could have did this better, this better, this better. But when you look at the pluses versus the minuses, I mean, it's way in the plus end. So, I'm proud of you. I had no doubt that you can pull this off, but to see it come together the way it did was really, really something special. And I enjoyed it. I actually listened to the thing a second time on my drive. So I've actually now heard the production twice.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, look.
All right, hold on. I'm taking notes here. It's probably an 8-hour drive or a 7.5 hour drive. Okay, I'm doing a radius around Coop's neighborhood.
We hashtagged and we used a tagline from day one: making history, be a part of history. So you kind of put undue pressure upon yourself when you kind of go balls out and make a statement that way. So we had to make sure we lived up to it, and I think we did a good job. So being said,
it was great. People were happy. Yeah.
I have an idea for Paul and Abe and Alex. Why don't you guys, with comments, give some sort of a prize or something? If people can guess where Coop has been, the guy who's the closest to it, maybe give him, I don't know, a 5-pack of something, I don't know, or give him a.
I gotta know the answer. Jose.
Yeah, but
I'll give you the answer. I'll give you the answer privately.
Yeah.
And then we could talk about it next week. But yeah, I will do that. I am willing to do that.
That's a good idea.
But I think Coop has publicly kind of mentioned what he was doing on this trip, which is going to tip some people off. I didn't want to say it now, but I think you said what you were doing, on this trip. Have you mentioned it?
I hear of some of his affairs.
Not really, but people who know me kind of know what I like to do. So,
all right. Well, are we going state or cities here? Because state's pretty broad.
Let's go a city.
Let's go city.
All right.
Let's go city.
The guy about a horse.
Now, do you want to know where I am now or where my destination was?
Oh. Okay.
So you're on your way back or something now?
Yeah.
No, we're at destination.
No, where your destination was.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And if people know, I was at one of my favorite places to go to.
Coop's on the land.
Okay, hold on. I think I got a better idea.
And it's not Florida. I'll tell you that.
For you to pick up a city or a state's very easy. To be the winner, you got to name 3 cities where he's been through. Something like
hard.
that.
That's hard.
Well, okay, let's make it 2 cities then.
I know where Coop is. I know where he went because he.
Hold on.
No,
Hold on.
I know now.
I'm just saying, Jose's out taking over KMA. So you want them to get 2 cities, or they could take 2 chances and be right out of 1? I got lost here.
No, he wants them to name what cities he's gone through.
2 cities at least.
That's too hard.
That's hard. That's going to be very hard. The one city's going to be hard. I think they'll get the statement.
But city, and if nobody gets it right, it'll be Paul's job to scroll through the 500 comments and find the city that's closest to it. Yes.
Coop, has anybody guessed it right yet that you've seen up on the screen?
I haven't seen the screen, but let me look because I have
okay,
the set up here.
It's okay. We can look at it later together, and we can decide who said it first.
So here we go.
Don't worry about it, Coop.
Yeah, there are people.
I know where you
close.
went, though. I know where you went.
There are people warm. Yeah, it's not Florida, though. I'll tell you that. It did not go to Florida. So.
All right, Coop. Tell us what's the scoop this week.
So there's actually, most of the news was more industry specific as opposed to product specific. The big news came out on Wednesday that I think there was a question that was answered is the TPE trade show. It was announced that the TPE trade show is going on as a in-person event, as scheduled. It's going to take place on May 12th. The TMG, Tobacco Media Group, which runs the TPE, based on some decisions that came down from the Nevada governor, TPE is taking place in Las Vegas. They feel comfortable enough with his reopening plan that they're going to be able to get the TPE show in. So they made an announcement. It's going full steam ahead at this point, and they're going to be taking a lot of. I thought it was really good. They have a lot of precautions that they're going to have. It's going to be a different type of trade show for a lot of us who go, because you're basically, while they'll be smoking on the trade show floor, it's only going to be in designated areas for the most part. And you're not going to be able to walk around with a cigar. You're going to have to wear masks during this. The exhibitors are going to be able to smoke in their booths. So it's going to be a little different. They're going to be implementing things such as temperature checks coming in. So it looks like this will be the first major event that the cigar industry is going to see if everything goes according to plan now.
It's the first major industry event.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, TGS aside, I know you had about 40 to 50 people, but right. This one, this is something that's going to be in the hundreds right now. So,
do you see this as a pathway or a glimmer of hope for the PCA now?
Absolutely. I think now, if TPE happens, PCA is happening.
I got a $5 signed bet with somebody about it. I gotta start keeping track of these.
Yeah, you have it with Eric. Eric and I were talking about that.
Eric Gunderson, that's right.
Yep.
Let me write that down.
Yep. Look, if TPE happens, I don't see any way PCA just cancels this thing at this point because of all that's on the line. Unless something changes and Nevada starts to close back up things again or tightens the rules around conventions. So I think we're going to see both trade shows this year based on this decision.
There you go.
Here it is.
Got to put that on my monitor so I don't forget.
Yeah. TPE's kind of taking a risk here. I mean, to be the first one, it's got to be a little bit scary. I wouldn't want to be the first one to jump out there.
That's one of the reasons why we moved forward,
right,
in the digital format, because Florida was opening up. Excuse me. Florida was opening up, and we had to make a decision early on. And look, the way it was looking, there was a possibility that we could have an event. We might be able to have an event, but we didn't want to be the first person to put our toes in the water and see how a mega multi-vendor event was going to go either.
Right.
So we just figured it was safer. And honestly, after the multitude of emails that we got from everybody all over the world, all over the country, who said, there was some from international too, who said, I've never been able to fly down. I can't really afford to come to these type of events. There's none of these kind of events in our area. And for us to be able to watch for 7.5 hours and participate in this was amazing. And we hope you continue to do it. And it's one of the reasons why moving forward, we're going to look a way to incorporate the virtual aspect into our annual event, even if we still go back to doing it physically in 2022.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea to do that because I think it will really expand the experience that you have with TGS. But, someone has to be the first, I guess, with for these trade shows and meetings to get back. So, I mean, TP, they're taking a shot with it. There's no question about it. I was pleased that they have a plan, at least for doing this. I have not made a decision if I'm going yet or not. To be honest, I'm not going to go unless I'm vaccinated. So that's a big one right there before I'd consider it. I'm not vaccinated yet.
That's fair.
But you did reveal last night on Smoke Night Live with Eric, Master Sensei, that you did buy your tickets for the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, right?
I signed up for it. So what I did is we had a media opportunity to sign up. So I haven't bought plane tickets yet. But they did extend an invite out to some members of the media. They've been great. They've been trying to get me for years. So I have signed up for that. But again, everything's going to be dependent on me being vaccinated and the whole current situation. If I didn't go to TGS, if it's the same for Rocky Mountains, I'm certainly not getting on a plane to go to Rocky Mountain. So.
Interesting. So what else you got going on? Anything else in the news this week?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things around the FDA. The first thing is when there's a new session of Congress that happens, they have to get a new set of bills in for things they've been trying to push through the legislature. So every 2 years we see the bills come in for the exemption for premium cigars from the FDA regulation. And this week the Senate bill went into place. It was put in by Marco Rubio to basically it's the legislation to put the exemption in place. That wasn't unexpected. People expected Marco Rubio to do that. I think a lot of the expectations, and if you probably talk to Glenn Loop on this, he would concur that when they put this in place, they would like to get it passed, but it serves another purpose. It kind of keeps awareness going on. It keeps members of the legislature engaged with the fight for an exemption, because we still don't have an exemption, even though some things went our way last year. And, Jose and I have talked a lot about this. This fight is far from over, so we can't rest on the laurels yet. And that's a key thing to just keep that message alive in Washington, because things could turn back against the industry in the next couple of years, too.
Kudos to Mark Rubio, because he really hasn't let up. He hasn't been a fan and say a few things and he goes away. He's constantly been on supporting the premium cigar business.
He has, and I think he's done a very good job, at that. I think he's one of the guys definitely committed. Obviously, he has a lot of interest in his backyard on this. So and that's important to do that. And he has been a big proponent for this, which I think is very good. I did notice that the co-sponsors that came on, though, it wasn't bipartisan like the last time. So they got some work, I think, to reach across the aisle on this now, especially with some of the new members of the Senate. And we'll have a House bill. We expect the House bill to come into play in the next few weeks as well, to have that with the House of Representatives.
Now, maybe I'm kind of been a little bit out of the loop the last few months. Who's working on this now that Glenn Loop is kind of retired and stepped down?
That's really a good question. As far as CRA goes right now, I think Robbie Levin's running that piece. So I think the board of directors is kind of certainly working on that end.
1 second. Robbie Levin after?
Yes. Yeah, he's running the CRA right now.
Is he really?
Well, that's who's in charge. He's always been the chairman. So now that they don't have an executive director, the board is taking on more responsibilities with this right now.
Wow. Okay.
But on the PCA end, they have Joshua Habarsky, and Glenn Loop is working with Joshua in a consultative role. So from the PCA, it's getting represented from those two guys. But I think ultimately and we'll talk about this next story in a bit, there's a lot going on with the lawyers and the lobbyists right now for sure with this. So they're going to have to continue to work for the organizations.
It should be interesting. All right. Yeah. Anything else going on?
Yes. So the other story is happening on the judicial end. And the judicial end, I think, is important because that's where the industry's had the most success. There was an injunction filed this week by the trade associations, and they're calling for Judge Mehta to throw out the deeming rule. So, they got some wins as far as some of the warning labels go. There were some wins as far as substantial equivalence. And as a next part of the process, now they're calling for the judge to just completely throw this out right now.
You think it's got any shot of happening?
I think it's a long shot. I think that's a long, because if you look at this judge's record, he's kind of always gone by the law. And if you look at he's, in terms of whether this is legal or not, and although he's looked at things and thrown things out that he thinks, might have violated portions of the law, I don't think he's ever felt the FDA's completely operated outside of the law. So I think that's going to be an interesting scenario. I'm hoping, that we have a shot at that. There's a lot of legal fees that are going to be involved with this type of fight right now. So they must feel the industry must feel they have a shot to take at this point to do that. So, and we've had the most success with the judiciary branch right now.
That'll be interesting to see. I was kind of really hoping, especially on his way out, that the former president would have done an executive order, done something on his way out, but it never happened. I think a lot of us in the cigar industry for the last 4 years really thought that this could have been a chance, at least, to have somebody on the executive end with friendships with guys like Schwarzenegger and Giuliani, that maybe something may have happened, but it didn't.
I know these things take a long time, but ultimately we have to look at the 4 years as a missed window that happened here, because we had a president. Say what you want about the president, I'm not going to get into a political debate, but he had a very anti-regulatory agenda, and this was something right up there and it just felt like we never got that message out from the White House on that, that something could have been done. So now, this is going to be extreme.
I don't know if that's true, Coop, because look, Giuliani is a regular in our stores, and he sits and talks with the patrons. He's been here. He's met my family. He's invited me and my wife over to Mar-a-Lago. He knows what's going on. He's on the front, and you got to believe at some point, the conversation that came up. The Trump sons are good friends with the guys over at Gurkha, one of the sons. So it was brought, and you got to believe that the course of 4 years, it was brought to the family's attention. Now, my assumption was, look, it's not a great topic, and it probably wouldn't have been done had he won the election again. That might have been like the pardons you write before you leave office. But I thought that would definitely have been a move before he left office, and it just never happened. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was interest in helping the industry from the folks you mentioned. Certainly, Giuliani's interested in the cigar industry, but commitment to do it, that's another story. It becomes a different animal. There's a lot of political ramifications that start to hand when you start to do stuff like that, and that's, I think, where ultimately no one stuck the neck out to make that happen.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going out, if you're checking out anyway, why not at that point?
Yeah, it's a little baffling to me. You're right on that. But I don't know. It's hard to say what was done in those last days, those last 90 days, those last 120 days, whatever. We just don't know. So to say they did or didn't, I don't know. I'm assuming that there was efforts made, but it didn't. In the end, the result didn't happen.
Yeah, I really had a little belief in my heart that we might have just had a nice little Hail Mary at whatever point he was going to check out. And
yeah.
Because the Obama administration is what gave the FDA legislation over premium cigars. It's nothing an executive order couldn't have overridden and removed that power of their authority there.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also, what I've kind of discovered, and I think a lot of people discovered, it's harder to unturn a law that was passed. To repeal it is harder than passing the law, is what you find out. And there's ramifications if you do that. Yeah, so I agree with you, but I don't think it was an easy task they had. I don't think this was a slam dunk. I think it was a difficult task to do it, and certainly I think the effort was made for sure.
Interesting. What else? Anything else going on this week, Coop?
That's it. Those were the stories I had for this week.
All right. What do you got coming up on your 80 episodes this week of Cigar Coop?
We're gonna have on Thursday. We have on the Viva La Vida guys. That's a brand of cigars being made out of AJ Fernandez's factory. These guys they used to own Cigar Inn in New York. They've had a lot of traction. They're going to be on the Thursday show, and then we're also doing our Primetime Jukebox Music Show on Monday, and we're going to be previewing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations.
Now, for our listeners who aren't too familiar, what is Primetime Jukebox episode?
So, this was a show that started in Australia by a guy named Dave Burke. He had a show called Cigar Jukebox, and the idea was he was just bringing the world of cigars and music together. And Dave got a good following. He produced over 200 episodes, and I actually was on a lot of shows and contributing. And then it was very hard for Dave to run that show out of Australia, from getting products to scheduling was a nightmare, and he was going to shut down the show. And I went to Dave. I said, Dave, what if I come in and I help you out. We bring this show in, and we make it part of the Primetime family. And he was all in on it. So we rebranded the show Primetime Jukebox from Cigar Jukebox. This is going to be our 32nd episode. We do 2 shows a month, and it's gaining a following. We've had some really good guests. The most notable guest we had on was a guy by the name of Rick Nielsen, one of the founders of the band Cheap Trick. So we had a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer on. We did that show back in May, and and he's a big cigar guy, Rick Nielsen. Got a huge amount of hits on that show. The Cheap Trick community was so great. I didn't know how they were going to receive a cigar show. They couldn't have been better about it. So that gave us a nice boost on the music end of things, because we got people tuning into that show who aren't necessarily cigar fans. It's a fun show to do, and it's a little bit, like I said, it's not the hardcore industry show that the other shows are. This one, like I said, it's more focused around music.
All right. So I'm trying to read the comments. Everybody's wondering whether Saka got his coin or not. I guess Saka made
it. Babe, that's your best promotional idea you've done since The Great Smoke.
Listen, that wasn't an idea.
Listen to me. Hold on. That wasn't, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. That wasn't a promotional idea. Steve Saka, I was busy during the day, goes on this rant about how he wants a coin and how he deserves a coin. And, I take it in the beginning like, all right, we're having fun. He's kidding, right?
Right.
And then, he's texting me, and I call him because I'm not even sure, he's serious or not, And he's screaming, I want my effing coin. I said, Steve, why don't you just ask him one? What's going on? And he really wants a coin. And trust me, in no universe is Steve Saka really going to, some people, I got PM'd yesterday. Everybody thought like we were seriously fighting, But in no universe is Steve Saka holding orders. But he wants a coin. He wants a coin. And it's funny because my response to him was like, why do you want one of my coins? And he goes to me, well, you want a Saka Squatch? And I said, yeah, because your face isn't on it, and so we just, we just rolled with it after that. So I started seeing all the people in our socialite group, and a lot of them have been very patient. It's a process, right? A lot of them has been very patient. It's been a process. We're getting them out there. It's kind of nice to see them land all over the place once a month, and it's coming out. And Steve wants to jump to the beginning of the line, the head of the line. And, so I was shocked that a lot of our socialites were endorsing it because they're all been patiently waiting. So then I just started making a video. It wasn't even planned. Alex sees me going live. He walks in here on his own, and it just kind of naturally blew up. So, he overnighted him a coin. I'm pretty sure 11:30. I don't know what FedEx's time is, but he should be having it soon. And, I promise you, it should be an interesting post when Steve gets his blue envelope.
Can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
But isn't Steve down in Florida right now? Or is he back?
No, he left.
He's back.
Okay, he's back. Okay, because I saw him. I thought he was at Florida a couple of nights ago.
He was. If he post the last video that he posted, you'll see he's all bundled up with his little driver's cap on and a jacket. He was back up in New Hampshire. So he. Oh man, people were going nuts about it last night.
It made for some of the best entertainment I had all week. Because I mean, not by Steve. I'm talking about by the people.
Yes.
I mean, the people posting and whatever. It was hilarious. Then Pete Johnson got involved. He got somebody else's picture.
There were
petitions made. Pete Johnson has not received the coin.
No, but there were 2 petitions made. The first petition
I saw one of them
was for Saka to get a coin, and then there was an anti-Saka petition to not get a coin. It was incredible.
Stay strong. Stay strong, everybody.
Very good. Very good. Good old
Haitian. You have little faith for a Habibi, man. I swear to God. Sometimes it's disappointing.
And technically, Abe didn't give him the coin. One of his employees, while Abe was, they knew better than to bother Abe, went and FedExed it overnight for $70.
$70.
FedEx.
It was $70 to overnight it. Oh. And by the way, just so everybody knows, when I did offer, when Alex did offer to send them one, he demanded that it be overnighted and be there by Saturday. Demanded.
Yeah.
All you soccer fans and Steve a coin. No, it wasn't good enough that Alex to mail him a coin, to drop it in the mail like every other human being. He wanted it overnighted, $70. Alex paid.
Wow, good for you.
Yep.
Abe would have sold him. Abe would have sent him like an elephant turd or something from one of those websites. Yeah, here's your coin. Open it up. Enjoy.
All I can say is stay tuned. Stay
tuned. That's all I can say. I know my peeps. They know how to do things right.
Stay tuned.
Very good. Very good.
So that being said, should we hop on the tail of the tape? Is it at that time?
It's about that time.
Oh, hold on.
All right.
Forgot about that.
We got this weekly thing going on. We got to see who's next on the all-time top 10 Hall of Fame.
All right, here we go.
I can't hear Alex.
Hello.
No.
Okay, sorry. Coop, you're on. Okay. My number 8 pick, top 10 boxers all time, is actually Coop's number 9 pick, Jack Johnson. We talked about last week where Johnson was the first black heavyweight of all time. This week, I want to focus on a specific event. Jack Johnson was part of what was dubbed the fight of the century. And this was against Jim Jeffries, the former heavyweight champion who retired undefeated. And it's hard to understand. There's probably nothing in sports that can gauge the magnitude of what this fight was. Obviously, Jack Johnson came out on top, and this caused race riots. Interesting fact, Congress actually passed a law banning the interstate travel of fight footage to try and quell race riots due to this fight. Coop, go ahead. I know I'm a little over time.
No, that's a very good point you made. That was a huge fight. So it's kind of ironic because Alex and I flipped picks. My number 8 pick was his number 9, and that's Julio Cesar Chavez. And the dominance of Chavez should not be understated. The guy won his first 87 fights in a row. So, I mean, how many people fight 87 fights in this career? This guy's won 87-0. He won titles at 3 divisions. He's just everything I personify as a pound-for-pound fighter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Chavez was like, one of those guys that had that aura of invincibility when you watched him fight, you know.
Yeah, and when he started losing the fights later in his career, he lost 2 to De La Hoya, who was, at that point, De La Hoya was about to take that mantle as pound-for-pound guy. So
Sure.
Yeah.
But in fairness, I think most agree that he did lose that fight to Pernell Whitaker, which they scored a draw.
No doubt. That was controversial. No doubt.
Which was his 87th fight. I mean, it wasn't like that happened at 40. This guy went 87-0 dominantly before Pernell Whitaker, which he scored a draw.
Yeah, exactly. Totally true.
Well, so there you go. There are the standings right now. I like this little tally thing.
Yeah, man. Interesting to see as it goes up. So tune in next week to the tail of the tape to see who makes number 7. Now, those of you back from your bathroom breaks, it's time to see who belongs to Cigar Insane Asylum.
Welcome to the Cigar Asylum.
Did you know I'm utterly insane? We all go a little mad sometimes.
Where logic and reason cease to exist.
Okay, everybody. This week's Insane Asylum once again hits close to home. This week's inductee really went the extra yard, you could so to speak. With 5 minutes left in Super Bowl 55, a fan made his way to the field wearing a pink mankini. Is that a word, or do we just write that into the script? Mankini.
It's a word.
All right, mankini, black shorts, and tennis shoes. Later identified as Yuri Andrade, the fan had a pretty successful run as far as streakers go. He made it to the field, got some photos taken of himself in his outfit, and blazoned. What's that word? Anyway,
Blazoned?
Emblazoned with the name of an adult website, and evaded security long enough to interrupt the game. Almost scored a touchdown. He even got a fantastic call from the legendary play-by-play man, Kevin Harlan, who was broadcasting the game over radio. Andrade not only had made it onto the field, but also claimed to have done so after placing a $50,000 wager that Super Bowl would have a streaker, which would bring in a whopping $374,000 in winnings. However, even though the bet was spread across several accounts with different people, it appears that anyone with prior knowledge to the stunt will be receiving a total of $0. Congratulations, Yuri, Mr. Streaker. You streaked for free, we guess, but at least you entertained yourself and millions of others. You are without a doubt this week's inductee into the Cigar Insane Asylum. And from what I understand, do we have Yuri live?
We do. Here is Yuri Andrade. There he is.
Wow.
What's up,
My
fellas?
man.
What's up, man?
So,
Yuri, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go.
Good. So we need to confirm, is this story about the wager that was made, is that true?
Yeah, the story's true, 100%. But the false reports afterwards saying that I didn't get my money is false. I mean, Bovada didn't pay me. Bovada only owed me like $75,000 in that bet. So, but the rest was done in Vegas. We flew a guy out at 9 a.m. with the money.
So how did you come up with this idea? When did you come up with this idea to do this?
Well, I was with Vitaly in Dubai for about 2 months. What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Yep,
Go ahead.
I was with Vitaly in Dubai for about 2 months, and we were drunk in a nightclub about 3 a.m. And he goes, man, I've tried the Super Bowl so many times, I can't get it. I want to try it this year, but I'm scared I'm going to lose again because I've already spent like $8,000 in tickets. And I'm like, show me the footage of the times that you failed. So we went through it real quick. And the last time he tried it was last year with Kelly Kay. And when she jumped on the field, all the security guards, like within 40, 50 feet of her, rushed her. So I look, and there's just an open field with no guards there. So we hired my buddy to jump as a distraction, which caused all the security to rush him. And I was waiting in a separate section at the stairs and just run and bum rush the field. And somehow it worked out magically. I think it could have went more perfect than it did.
So you guys had a plan.
Yeah.
Not only did you have a plan, but this was something that was attempted a few times before.
Yeah, we attempted it, or Vitaly has attempted it 4 times before that. He got in a locker room one time with a wig on, and security was like, hey, that guy's a freaking wig on, and they kicked him out. And then another time he tried to sneak in, and he said the FBI stopped him and arrested him, somehow noticed him. And then another time he tried to jump the field, and they grabbed him. And then Kelly Kay last year, he sent Kelly Kay, and she got caught. But I had confidence I could make it this year.
What kind of legal ramifications have you endured now from this stunt?
I got charged with trespassing. So it'd be like $1,000 fee or something.
Worth it.
I mean, you knew going into this you'll be forever the streaker, right?
Yeah. Well, I honestly did not think it was gonna blow up as much as it did. I thought I was gonna get on the field and get tackled, but then I get on the field and nobody's coming anywhere near me, so I'm taking laps, and buzzing around. And then the security guard came. I put a little juke move on him and a spin move, and he falls on the ground. It just like really couldn't go more perfectly than it did. It was definitely an epic streak, and definitely one of the best moments of my life for sure.
That's great. Now, most people don't know, but running 100 yards, sprinting 100 yards is not like, did you train at all for this run? Did you expect to be running so long?
Not at all, man. All we did was drink and eat in Dubai. I gained like 25 pounds there. I was a lot slimmer before the trip. We ended from the trip on Thursday, and the Super Bowl was Sunday. And I was like, man, this is really gonna happen. You know, we got like 3 days to prepare. We planned it all like night before, pretty much.
Did any part of you hope to make it to the end zone? Because I was rooting for you. As you were getting to the end zone, come on, you got to make it into the end zone. And then that security guy came to blindside you, and you like slid like 3 yards short from the end zone.
Man, you know, there was a plan, and then as soon as I took the field, the plan was like out the window. You know, it was just like I'm running, my adrenaline's pumping, just like it's like skydiving times 1,000, and I'm just, the whole crowd is like 10 times louder than it was the whole game. It was just insane. The floor is vibrating, my ears are vibrating, and just like I didn't think of any plan. And when I saw that police officer coming, I remember Vitaly telling me, when the cops come, get on the ground. I wasn't even looking at the end zone. I was just running, and I was just trying to avoid any further charges. So I thought about jumping over the cop, and then I was like, no, because he could get hurt or something, you know. And then I was like, just slide, you know, just slide, get under him. Because when I turned and saw him, he looked like he wanted to break me in half, you know. He was like head down, full on, like, you know. That was like the moment he's been waiting for his whole life, and I wasn't going to give it to him, you know.
No, literally, that security guy played some football, man. He had some form, man. He was coming strong at you. He reminded me of a pulling guard. The Hillsborough County Sheriff actually made a post on their Instagram, and they're like, oh yeah, our guy made the best tackle of the night, former high school star, quarterback, this and that. And I went and commented on their page, and I was like, obviously he wasn't that good. He missed the tackle. That's why he never made it out of high school. And then the comments just exploded from there.
Oh no.
Oh, so is there anybody that's reached out to you? Anybody reach out to you to document this, to talk about this? Is there any works for a book or a show or anything?
A book? No, not yet. We'll see, but just kind of interviews. I mean, like 3 or 4 a day since it happened. It hasn't stopped, but a lot of people are interested in this story, so we'll see. Maybe we'll make a movie out of it.
Look, I mean, obviously everybody, I think a lot of people think that it's just like, all right, let me hop down on the field and run. They don't realize like the covert planning, you know, watching video footage of figuring out how to streak during the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, definitely. It took it. I mean, well, we planned it pretty quick, and it was like 60% planning, 39% liquid courage, and 1% just adrenaline rush.
I just got to take a moment.
Shotgun 4 beers right before we jump too.
Just got to take a moment. And an interesting, 6 degrees of separation. Yuri and I actually share a barber in South Florida. Shout out to Legends Barbershop, friends of the show. They play the show in the shop, and they actually helped us get Yuri on this morning.
Yeah, man. Shout out Alex.
Yeah, actually,
boy.
Yeah, I'm actually might have to head there after the show today. Doesn't he have a 6 degree separation to AJ Smokes too?
Yes, I think him and AJ went to the same high school or something. One of our
I mentioned it to Yuri last night. He said he doesn't remember AJ.
So the big question, Yuri.
I would just have to see a picture of him.
We'll get you one. The big question here is this. Will this be like a jackass thing? Are you looking to make a career of these kind of stunts, or is this a one and done for you?
I am a big time adrenaline junkie, and nothing has ever felt like that before. So I'll be chasing that high for a long time. We'll see if we can make a couple more streaks. I got a question. You guys think I'll get shot if I skydive into the Super Bowl next year, or what?
That would be the most epic, insane thing ever.
Yeah, I mean
it would be crazy.
Do you remember when
I'm scared the snipers might try to take me out or something?
Do you remember when the skydiver went into the fight in Vegas?
Fight.
Yeah.
Yes, the fight.
Yep.
Fan man.
Yep.
Well, I got a feeling we haven't seen the last of
It's becoming a career.
Am I pronouncing your name right? Is it Andrade?
This is definitely not the last.
Is it Andrade? Yeah, I don't believe we've seen the last of Yuri Andrade. Yuri, thank you so much for coming on KMA Talk Radio and sharing your story with all our fans and listeners. It was definitely interesting to hear. Good luck to you, and we look forward to seeing what else happens in the years to come.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes out for you, Yuri.
Good luck.
Thanks, fellas. Stay tuned, and shout out Vitaly Uncensored, man, for making this whole thing happen.
Absolutely, my man. Peace. How about that? Was that pretty wild?
That's awesome.
Only on KM Radio can you see this.
Yep.
KMA Talk Radio. Did we get the Super Bowl streaker?
Good job.
We beat Coop to a story.
We did.
Yes, you did. Well,
Yeah, seriously.
We had an inside track.
We weren't planning that on prime time, so you guys have that track.
All right, everybody. What was that?
I apologize for his connection. He was in a different location yesterday. I guess this morning he was not in the same location. But it was so.
Do you confirm that they're going to do it from the show from the same spot?
Yeah. That's I actually when I set up the sound checks, I asked them to do it from the location that they'll do the show from. Except for Jose, because Jose does this weekly, so I was less concerned. We did a sound check, but I was less concerned about him. But yeah, that's what we do. Yuri just texted me. He said he'll be glad to come back after next year's Super Bowl.
There's barbershop chatter that they're already planning next year's Super Bowl, which is in California.
His face is going to be plastered in every security office at the Super Bowl now.
Absolutely.
That's why.
That's funny. He can make a career out of this. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Jose, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thanks.
We really enjoyed having you on. I'm so happy to see you doing better. Continued health to you, my friend, and looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, I mean, and I forgot to say, for many years you had been inviting me to be on the show with Dave from EPC, but every Saturday I was traveling. It's not that I didn't want to be on the show, but now that we have this time, let's see how things go towards the end of the year. We'll do a recap, but I just want to congratulate you again, your team, your daughter, Alan, for a great show. Like I said, history in the making. And I think that a lot of people are going to look into it and say, maybe we're thinking about doing it, but when you do it live, it's not the same thing. But again, guys, Alex, Paul, I don't care what Abe says about you. I think you're a great, great producer. I don't care what he says. Abe, it was great to see you guys. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Jose.
Coop, thanks for coming on as always. Your contributions always rock, buddy. Stay safe. Stay safe. We'll catch you next week. Big thanks to Rafael Nodal also for our feature spotlight segment. Go.
I just want to give one quick shout out to Tim Chi, who is in Taiwan, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say is probably the only person that watches KMA live on Sunday.
Ooh, fancy. Well, maybe Coop. We don't know where he is.
I don't know.
It's Saturday. It's Saturday.
Yeah, it's Saturday. Where Coop? There's a hint. It's Saturday. Write it down. Next week, #1 cigar of the year maker Ernesto Perez Carrillo will be on KMA Talk Radio. We're going to talk about his #1 cigar and all things going on EPC. Everybody have a great weekend. Peace from the KMA crew. Keep it lit.